yes, granted, I'm a big Orihime hater, okay? I don't really care about what you have to say because we've made it to, like, what, the final 2% of Bleach, and you've only just gotten to the point where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna protect Ichigo finally, and then you don't even really do it.
Orihime, you really are so damn cool. I've always said this. Orihime is just the best. She's awesome. And in this episode of Bleach 1000-Year Blood War, she proves why. Because we have gone off script. We've gone fully away from the manga here. We're adding some new sauce to this already pretty saucy dish in the form of Orihime locking in against yhwach. Now, the real question is, though, at what cost? That's what I want to talk about. What is the expense of Orihime being absolutely awesome this episode? Like the awesome, super dope character she is? Well, I'll tell you. It means in the final fight against the villain, my MC is looking like this. What is bro doing? Get off the floor. Like, you are the main character of Bleach. This is the final boss. You're looking like a McDonald's worker more than anything right now. Ichigo, get up. He didn't hit you that hard, bro. If Orihime is tanking all these hits, I know your ass is not knocked out, bro. You're fine, okay? Get up. Seriously, though, I do really like this edition. It does a lot for Orihime, and I think it's very cool seeing her step up for Ichigo after saying she would last episode. Because obviously in the manga, she kind of says it and then doesn't really live up to that expectation. She doesn't really get to defend Ichigo the way that she is now, but now she is proper, you know, using the I reject, I can't remember how to say it, Zanten Keshin or something. I reject, and then she's also healing Ichigo when he's down, and he's able to then get back up because of it and keep on going. She's really doing a lot, and I think also a big part of what made this scene really enjoyable is the music. The way that music crept in, I'm really bad at mimicking these. I'm gonna try. Ready? It goes like, I'm sorry, I'll just play the clip. I'll play the clip. I really like that moment. As someone who, in general, doesn't actually care that much for Orihime, I really enjoyed this moment. It was very cool, very hype. It's a great addition to the source material. And obviously, I was joking around. I don't care that Ichigo has been knocked down here. It's fine. Yeah, they just sort of keep on boxing, and then we explore this really nice parallel between Uryu and Ichigo this episode. And I feel like this episode, more so than the last two, are probably the best examples of how 1000-Year Blood War anime has been massively adding to that source material, because in the manga, everything's very sequential. One thing happens after the other. Nothing is mixed together like it is right now. You know, right now we have Uryu and Hashvault, we have Ichigo, Orihime, and Yuha, and then we have Gerard versus everyone that he fights in this episode. And those are three things that are happening simultaneously that we're cutting between. And it allows for these moments like when Uryu stands up and talks to Hashvault and predicts what Ichigo is going to say in response to yhwach. That's something that you can't really explore when you go in a sequential order in the manga. It's really cool to be able to see these things that Kubo clearly wanted to spend a little bit longer kind of expanding on, and probably wanted to present in a different way, but due to the, you know, the time constraints, and also just his health and the whole situation with 1000-Year Blood War when the manga was releasing, he probably wasn't able to do as much as he wanted to. So it's nice seeing the kind of polished version right now, and I really enjoyed that moment where Yuha's and Hashvault, both of them, are kind of explaining to Ichigo and Uryu what Ichibe's intention was, and we see that visual of him painting with the black, and it's explained how the Soul King spirit energy is black, representing chaos, which then feeds into the whole theme of we are bleaching, right? Like, we're taking that black and we're bleaching it white, which is also shown in this episode later on when Ichigo uses the Quincy power from yhwach to activate that Quincy part of his Zanpakuto, or the Quincy part of his power, which is then bleaching his blade white from black, right? This is all in the manga, but again, I'm really enjoying the way that watching this episode kind of polishes and refines those little details that Kubo was trying to add to the manga all those years ago. And I think my favorite is just the way the so what line was executed. So once it was revealed that Ichibe's intention for Ichigo was for him to take the place of the Soul King, which is obviously a horrendous, like, he's a teenager, right? He wasn't from the Soul Society. He's not actually a Soul Reaper. He's still a damn substitute. He's a kid. It's not his job to be taking over the role of literal god and basically sacrificing himself to make sure everyone lives. But when Uryu is presented with this information, and when Ichigo is presented with this information, they both just kind of shrug it off. Ichigo's like, yeah, so what? And it's not that Uryu says so what. It's not that he goes, so what? Ichigo will just do it. It's that Uryu knows that's what Ichigo will say. And Uryu is there to back his friend. If that's what Ichigo's going in to fight for, then that's what he's going to support him. And I really enjoy that kind of quick cut between Uryu saying so what and Ichigo saying so what. Again, it's a nice way of polishing and refining those kind of messages that Kubo was trying to bring to the table when writing the manga. But yeah, this episode is probably the best for exploring that Bleach theme. right? You may be wondering, why is the series called Bleach? You know, is it about toilet cleaner? No, but throughout the whole series, there is this very strong imagery of bleaching black to white. Holification is a good example of that, and I feel like the Arrancar arc kind of explores that idea a bit as well, but I feel like it is the most obvious and blatant in this stretch of the series, and having it all in one episode explains it quite nicely. So yeah, the rest of the episode is basically just fighting. I was also incorrect on my last review. Hashvalt did not relinquish the almighty power yet, which again is kind of something that I assumed he did based on me reading the manga, but I am learning as I'm watching this to sort of let go of how the manga was doing things, because we are doing things differently here. The order has been mixed up. There's been lots of additions and extensions to these moments, so I just need to get over the fact that it's not going to be the same. The Uryu fight with Hashvalt is still ongoing. He still has the almighty power, and Yuha's just using that black spiritual pressure from the Soul King to keep Ichigo at bay. When it comes to the fights though, they look awesome. That 3D camera work is, it's popping off once again, especially in the Uryu segment. The way they have him using his, what's it called? I forget the blue stuff. Reishi, that's what it's called, right? Something like that. The way that he's using the blue shit is really dope. He kind of encapsulates himself in this weird ball thing, and it flies around while the black spiritual pressure is like trying to get at him, but then he's shooting these little laser things, albeit it kind of sounds like he's shooting fairy dust at Hashvalt, but I like the idea. It's a very inventive way of expanding on an otherwise kind of stale fight in terms of action. And not to hate on the GOAT, because I love Ichigo, but Orihime was putting in the work this episode, right? We've clarified that. She saved his ass many times. She really was doing a good job. Ichigo, what are you gonna do about it, bro? Orihime's given you a golden opportunity, so you better get up and make the most of it. You better do something that's gonna work, because remember, right now, Yhwach has not got the ability to see into the future or alter the future. Which means you should probably do something he's not going to be able to predict. So, Ichigo, please enlighten us. What are you gonna do? Get the attention! Yep, never saw that come in. He really doesn't need the almighty power to fight Ichigo. He might be the most predictable opponent he could ever ask for. Oh, Ichigo, are you gonna go in from the left? Are you gonna go from the right? Are you gonna go down the middle? Are you gonna go for a left hook? A right hook? A kick to the face? Are you gonna throw some crazy sword skill? Oh, get to Gotensho. I bet. Alright, have you got anything slightly more advanced? Oh, sick. What does it do? I do 2 of them. Brother, please, man. I beg. Switch it up just a little bit. Yeah, no, in general, I think the visuals were very enjoyable this episode, along with the music as well. We got treachery towards the end, which is very dope, in that Gerard scene when Byakuya and Hitsugaya pull up. There was also a really cool moment where we have Shinji just deciding to go crazy. I don't know, Shinji's so cool, man. He's like the Maharaga of Bleach, right? He's never won a fight, but he's still the GOAT. And then we have all the Vizards together shooting off like this, I don't know, Infinity Gauntlet Rainbow Cero Blast, and it was cool. I liked it. It was really sick. And I know they're useless, and I know they're bums, and I know it did fuck all, but it was cool to see. But anyway, yes, we all know the fights are great. Let's talk about hype moments in Aura, because Hitsugaya, he pulls up, he's back from his zombification, thanks to Mayuri putting in the work and saving the day. Yes, I know, Mayuri does actually do useful stuff once in a while, and he's here to just aura farm a bit. He freezes Gerard's arm, and then Byakuya's there as support. They have a little nice back and forth moment, which is, yeah, Byakuya's just a dick, I'm not gonna lie, and Hitsugaya's just, he is overly sensitive, but whatever, it doesn't matter, because the GOAT has arrived. Kenpachi Zaraki. I love this dude. I know he's kind of controversial. Some people really like him, some people don't. I think he's just sick. I think he's so cool. I have no deeper analysis to give to this character. He's just awesome. The way he is like a blundering dumbass.
Oh, this guy grows bigger when you hit him? Alright, let me hit him more.
What happens if he falls over Zaraki and like destroys the Serete?
Nah.
Like, and he's just such a brick. It's so funny. And then yeah, he summons his Shikai, which is dope, and this is the first time the other captains have seen it, which is really cool. And then the episode ends with the little leaf symbol things, the petals, whatever they're called, on Hitsugaya's Bankai breaking. Which obviously, if you read the manga, if you know, you know. We know what's coming next week most likely, but that is by far the bit that I am most interested in, at least fight-wise. Like, this Kenpachi Hitsugaya Byakuya 3 versus 1 against Gerard, I hope there's a lot of extensions, I hope there's a lot added to it, but as long as they make the most out of this fight, I think I'm gonna be happy, because yeah, the Ichigo Uryuha stuff, I think, is I'm enjoying the dialogue a bit more because the conflict is very strong spiritual pressure, and then Getsuga Tensho is predictable, but that's fine. And the Uryu Hashfelt thing, I'm very curious to see how that's resolved though, because this is by far the most extended conflict in the season so far, and I'm really enjoying it. Again, that 3D camera work is absolutely impeccable in this season. It's really impressive, genuinely. And yeah, I don't know, it was a great time. I was kicking, screaming when I heard Treachery, even though Aizen's not here. And yeah, great episode. Big up Orihime. All right, like, subscribe, and I will see you in a bit.